is going to be a special episode. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to you guys because we're in the middle of the coronavirus epidemic, COVID-19, and I wanted to chat to you about how instead of being sad and depressed and all worried at this time, we can actually take advantage of it and utilize that to improve ourselves. We'll talk about the guitar today, but obviously you can use this in any aspect of your life. So without further ado, let's kick off this episode. Okay, so many of us find ourselves working from home. You see the pajamas. And the funny thing is, what I see with some folks that work from home, what they see is an advantage of being able to sleep in and, being done with stuff early and things like that, and maybe not even getting the work done that they're supposed to be getting done, which I highly recommend against. Actually, I feel like as a society, because a lot of us are working from home, it's very important for us to go ahead and accomplish the things that we're trying to do at home. So when you work from home, take it as serious as you would at the office, obviously. I mean, this is just basically a disclaimer. I'm not here to tell you like, hey, spend your time working at home practicing the guitar. No, what I'm telling you is you have some extra time available. Like, think about it. Let's say you take 30 to 45 minutes to drive into work and to drive home from work. Well, now those 30 and 45 minutes can be used practicing your guitar or some other thing around the house, whatever it may be. But I recommend you still wake up at the same time that you used to wake up. Heck, maybe earlier if you feel like it. And take advantage of that time. So if you had a 45-minute drive into work, right, spend 45 minutes working on the pentatonics, working on memorizing notes around the fretboard, working on songs and things like that. Heck, during the coronavirus thing, work on your blues. And seriously though, I mean, think about that time that you have. If you used to spend, say, 30 minutes to 60 minutes an evening after you get home from work, you sit down, you have food with your family and stuff like that, you do things around the house, and then you sit down and you get a solid 30 to 60 minutes of guitar practice in, right? And that's on a good day. Well, now, if we're working from home, we can take that time that we would have been driving into work and that time that we would have been driving home from work and turn that into guitar practice as well. Heck, do you get an hour lunch at work? Well, guess what? When you're working from home, you don't need an hour for lunch. You whip up a salad or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or roast beef, whatever your preference is, right? You make that lunch in a matter of minutes, you eat it, and now you've got 42 minutes left in your lunch break. Take advantage of that time and play the guitar. On top of that, when you're eating lunch at home, pop the boob tube on, or YouTube. YouTube. I think I just invented a word. Pop YouTube on your TV and watch one of the music theory guys. I highly recommend Rick Beato. Or Steve Stein, or one of those guys, or Justin Guitar, and learn songs. But have them playing in the background while you're eating your lunch and soak up some extra theory. One of the things that I do anyway when I'm not necessarily practicing is I grab my books, because I have lots of books. I also have CDs. For instance, I'm working on ear training right now. I've got CDs on an ear training program. I actually have lots of ear training material. But another thing that I have are a lot of these kinds of things. So this is Scotty West. I've told you guys before, he's amazing. And this is Absolutely Understand Guitar. I'm going back through, I'm reviewing all of this material, which I've already been through. I already mentioned Rick Beato, but you can get his Beato book online. You buy it from his website. This is version 3.0, which I forget what he says, but it's got 350, 360 pages of music theory. It's an unbelievable amount of information. And so I take some time and I read through that too. I'm also dusting off my skills with the blues. So I spend time going back through, all of us have books on our bookshelf, right, of things that we want to do and things like that. And the main reason why I mention those books is because one thing that you may run into, say we've got 2 weeks of work from home, and you're suddenly practicing 3-4 hours now because you're utilizing that hour that you used to get anyway, and then you're utilizing your hour drive in and your hour drive home and your hour lunch. So you're doing 4 hours a day. Well, what you're going to run into about 2 days in is pain. Because if you've only been playing 30 to 60 minutes a day, if you're lucky, maybe sometimes you skip days, and suddenly you do 3-4 hours a day, you're going to start getting pain. Now, you're going to get pain on the tips of your fingers where your calluses or lack of calluses are. You're going to get pain in your hands and tightness and swelling. And you're also going to get pain, and this is the important one, in your forearm muscles and the tendons for your fingers. Now, if that pain is, they have that saying, no pain, no gain. And I'm a lifter and I am very familiar with that saying, but there is something that you want to understand too. Some kinds of pain are actually bad. If you just got some soreness and things like that, go back to episode 5, I think it was, where we talk about stretching, and do some stretching and stuff like that before and after your practices, and you should be fine. But if you find that in the middle of your playing, you're getting sort of this dagger in your forearm kind of feeling, that's not a good thing. If it feels like metal is cutting into your forearm, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a guess. It's probably bad. So you want to take a breather from that. And that's why I mentioned the books. YouTube and books and things like that are obviously stuff that you can do. There's other things. For instance, if we're working on chords, you don't have to have the guitar in your hand, right, to play a chord. You can play it in your mind and think about that shape, right? We've talked about visualizing stuff like that. And you can also spell chords out. So when I'm working on, say, for instance, a C chord, and I spell that out and I know that it contains C, E, G, the 1, 3, 5 in a major chord, or if I'm going with a C7, right, then I know that I've got a B flat in there because there's a flatted 7. You can think about those things in your head. You don't have to necessarily play them on the guitar. So I don't want to beleaguer this point, but if you're getting sharp pain, step away from it, but don't give up on your practice. We need to work on our ear training, right? I mentioned Rick Beato earlier. He's got an ear training, a complete ear training program that's available online. Check that thing out. But you don't need your guitar to work on that. Heck, you can also work on your ear training if you have a keyboard or a piano in the house. You can work on it there, and you can work, there's tons of free stuff on YouTube and available online where you can listen to the different intervals and things like that. So there's a lot of different things that you can be practicing without practicing. Now, if you are able to manage the 3 to 4 hours, I highly recommend, get on your guitar and practice, work repeatedly. We know we've been working on the boxes, right? 1 through 5 of the pentatonic minor. Practice that repeatedly. Take advantage of this extra time that you have and just do it over and over again. And then remember to also do the scale degrees and the note names. Right now we're on shape 5 of doing some extra work with that, and also including that in our solo work and things like that. Also take advantage of this time and teach yourself a new song or 2 or 3. A new style of playing. You might have noticed in the beginning of this video I was playing a song called Landslide, and that involves a Travis pick, which is something that I have always kind of thought was cool but never really spent much time practicing until recently. So finger style is totally different than using your pick. Or how about hybrid, where you do both, where you do your pick and your fingers to help along with it. Or maybe you're a rock and roll person and you've always wanted to dabble in the blues. Well, pick up your guitar and start playing the blues. You've got more time available to you now, so take advantage of that time. And by the way, I did want to mention, I'm not trying to downplay coronavirus. Obviously, it is something that we all should be concerned with and stuff like that. I'm concerned. I have a compromised immune system. So I'm definitely concerned, but that's not going to stop me from living my life. Nothing ever has. And so I feel like we need to be smart, right? You're doing the things that you're hearing that you need to do, like keeping your hands clean, staying away from people, especially when they're coughing or sneezing or things like that. But you're still going to live your life. And so if we're locked up in our homes, you know, doing this isolation and things like that, or work from home type things, there's no reason why we can't continue doing things. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of this time. Be smart about it, but take advantage of it. You can be locked up in your guitar cave practicing for hours and not worry about a thing, while the rest of the world is freaking out about this stuff. Get into your guitar cave and get into a groove. Learn some new styles, learn some new songs, build on the stuff that you've been wanting to practice for a while, work on your ear training, pile all this stuff up and become a better musician. I hope this was helpful. Please comment down below and let me know what you're doing in this time. If there's things that you worry about, or if there's things that you're doing that are different than what you've done in the past, and also just how you're handling this in general. And like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Let's hear what they're doing as well. I'll see you guys at our regular scheduled episode, which will come up on this Sunday. I hope you're staying safe, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.